This video is all about carbohydrates, a class of molecules ranging from the smallest monosaccharids to the largest polysaccharids. Monosaccharids are the carbohydrate monomers. They are single unit sugars, usually following the chemical ratio 1 carbon for every 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Now, let's get some examples. Fructose and glucose. These both follow the chemical formula of C6H12O6, meaning they are isomers. Isomers have the same chemical formula, but a different structure. Now, these are good examples of monosaccharids because, like all monosaccharids, they have a hydroxyl group and a carbonyl group. However, these can be placed in different places within the molecule. For fructose, which is a ketose, as you can see, the carbonyl group is in the middle of the carbon chain, meaning it is not at the top or the bottom. Glucose has its carbonyl group at the top, meaning it is an aldose. Now, as you've noticed, most of these words end in ose. All sugars end in ose, meaning fructose, ketose, aldose, and glucose all refer to sugars. Now, some more on chemical formulas. Now, let's use glucose as an example. Glucose, over here, looks like a line. However, in aqueous solution, most monosaccharids form rings. This is the structural formula of glucose in aqueous solution. This is the abbreviated structure of the same thing, and this is the simplified structure. These are all glucose and may be used in different cases. Now, as we saw with glucose and fructose, they both had 6-length carbon skeletons. Most monosaccharids are 3 to 7 carbons in their carbon skeleton. The majority of monosaccharids have a 5 or 6 length carbon skeleton, and 5-length carbon skeletons are called pentose, while 6 are called hexose. As you notice again, the ose ending means they are sugars. Now on to the next presenter.
I'm going to talk about two monosaccharides that link to form a disaccharide. This is done through the dehydration reaction. Right here you have two glucose monomers. One of the glucose monomers is going to give up its hydroxyl group, while the other glucose monomer is going to give up its hydrogen atom out of its hydroxyl group. This results in a release of water and leaves the two monomers connected to one oxygen atom. This forms the maltose disaccharide. Some common uses of maltose can be used in germinating seeds. It's used in making beer, malted milkshakes, and malted milk candy. This slide shows two other types of disaccharides. The first one on the top is sucrose, which is made from glucose and fructose. The second one is lactose, which is made from the two monomers galactose and glucose.
Polysaccharides are long chains of sugar units. Polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are macromolecules. Macromolecules consist of thousands of monosaccharides linked together by dehydration reactions. Polysaccharides can act as both storage molecules and structural compounds. Starch. Starch is a storage polysaccharide made up of many glucose monomers, which can be branched or unbranched. Starch is used in plants to store energy and building materials. Humans can hydrolyze starch to extract the glucose. Common sources of starch in a human diet are potatoes, rice, and grain. Glycogen. Glycogen Glycogen is a polysaccharide that animals use to store glucose. In humans, glycogen is found mostly in muscle fibers. The muscle fibers release glucose when needed by hydrolyzing the glycogen. Cellulose. Cellulose is an extremely abundant polymer. It makes up plant walls. Cellulose is a polymer of glucose. Cellulose molecules joined by hydrogen bonds are not a nutrient for humans because animals cannot hydrolyze it. Cows and termites can, however. Chitin. Structural polysaccharide, and it's used by insects and crustaceans to form exoskeletons.